Hello and welcome to this video on Beyond Alpha, evaluating scale reliability with confirmatory factor analysis in JMP Pro. My name is Geiser. I'm an instructor and statistical consultant with QuantFish. In this video, I want to show you how you can conduct a more sophisticated scale reliability analysis that goes beyond simply calculating Cronbach's alpha using the JMP Pro software, which has a really nice module for fitting confirmatory factor analysis and structural equation modeling. So let's get started and let's take a simple example. Let's take a look at a simple example where we look at the scale reliability of a 4-component test. And so for that, I'm going to open in JMP Pro a CSV data file. So this is an Excel spreadsheet with a bunch of test score variables. And so here you can see that we have one test that is called ZVT that consists of 4 components, ZVT A, B, C, and D. So this is a numerical processing speed test that has 4 subtests or 4 subscales that are all constructed in a very similar way. And so we can now determine the reliability of this test by computing, for example, Cronbach's alpha. So a common method would be to simply say, okay, let's run Cronbach's alpha across these 4 variables and then see what the composite reliability for this test looks like. However, this has the downside that Cronbach's alpha comes with certain assumptions that remain untested. For example, Cronbach's alpha assumes that a single factor model fits these data. And not only that, but it also assumes that the test score variables have to have equal loading, so they have to be essentially tau equivalent. They have to have uncorrelated error variables. So there are a number of assumptions that go into the computation of Cronbach's alpha that remain untested when you simply use, for example, SPSS or something like that to calculate Cronbach's alpha without testing the measurement model. And so JMP Pro with confirmatory factor analysis allows us to test these assumptions using confirmatory factor analysis, and then also to calculate more sophisticated composite reliability coefficients that go beyond Cronbach's alpha. So let's see how this works. And so for that, we're going to go to Analyze and then Multivariate Methods, Structural Equation Models. And so the confirmatory factor analysis module is a subset or is a subcomponent, so to say, of the structural equation modeling framework because it is a special case of SEM. So let's click on that and then we can select our 4 variables from the variable list, ZVT A through D. We're going to use them as our model variables, and we're going to use maximum likelihood estimation or full information maximum likelihood if we have missing data for this analysis. If you have non-normally distributed data, you might want to consider using maximum likelihood with robust inference for non-normality. Then I'm going to click on OK. And so now this takes us to the JMP Pro drawing board where we can then draw our factor model. So we can fit a confirmatory factor analysis model here. And this is very simply done by highlighting the variables in the tool list and then clicking on plus here at the bottom where it says latent 1. If you want a different name for this variable, you call it factor, for example. You can change the label here. And so then this already draws us a single factor model, and you can see that this does not require that you have equal loading. So it assumes that this is a congeneric measurement structure where the loadings could potentially differ between the indicators, and you could change that. So you could, if you wanted to test a model of tau equivalence, you could do that by constraining the loadings here accordingly. So you can right click on this and then you can say, for example, fix to, and you could fix it to 1 and then the other loadings as well. And then you would have a model of essential tau equivalence for which Cronbach's alpha would be appropriate if the model fits. But we're going to go with this generic factor model, the congeneric model, where we have more flexibility and where the loadings here are freely estimated. And so then when you have that specified, you can click on Run. And so then automatically you get the output, including a chi-square test of model fit, which is shown here at the top. You can see for our target single factor model, we get a chi-square of 2.26, 2 degrees of freedom, and a p-value of 0.3228. So this model is not rejected according to the chi-square. It fits well. Also the CFI looks good, RMSEA looks good, and the SRMR coefficient also looks good for this model. So this is a well-fitting model. And so now what can we do to find out about reliability based on this model? Now that we have found out that a single factor model with uncorrelated error variables fits these data well, we can go to this little red arrow here under structural equation model 1. When we click on that, we can find a whole bunch of different options. For example, we could look at standardized parameter estimates, confidence intervals, additional fit statistics, and other things. And when we scroll down here all the way to the bottom, there is an option that says assess measurement model. And so when you click on that, you get a full set of reliability statistics for a confirmatory factor model. So when we click here, you can see now we have this additional output at the bottom where it says assess measurement model, indicator reliability. So you get the individual indicator reliabilities or R-squared values for ZVT A, B, C, and D, both graphically displayed in this plot here and also in terms of the exact numerical values. You can see, for example, ZVT-A has a pretty modest component reliability of 0.5883. The highest ones are found for C and D, 0.68. And so the individual reliabilities here are not super great. However, composite reliability looks at the whole sum of these scores combined, so the composite or sum score, and that's found on the right hand side where you can see composite reliability. And so here we get coefficient omega both in standardized form, so when items are standardized to variances of 1, and unstandardized. You can see here they are virtually identical in this example, 0.88. So that's good composite reliability. And so now this is a reliability index that is more general than Cronbach's alpha. It can be applied also when indicators have different loadings, as in this case. You can see we allow different loadings. Now here they are all very close to 1, so probably a model with equal loadings would also fit, and Cronbach's alpha would be appropriate here. But in cases where you don't have equal loadings, this is the more appropriate reliability statistic for composite reliability, coefficient omega. You also get something called construct maximal reliability, coefficient H. So this looks at the optimal weighting of the scores. In this case, you can see it's very similar to a coefficient omega with also a value of 0.88. So that makes no difference here. And you get the average variance extracted statistic on the left-hand side in case this is something that you care about. 0.65 is the average variance extracted. So this is basically the average of the indicator R-squared values that are shown here at the top. So this is a very useful summary output for assessing a measurement model based on confirmatory factor analysis. It allows you to test the underlying assumptions of the model, single factor, uncorrelated error variables, and it gives you a general reliability coefficient, namely coefficient omega, which may be useful in cases where the assumptions of essential tau equivalents are not met, so that Cronbach's alpha may be the wrong coefficient. I hope you found this video useful to learn more about how to evaluate construct reliability using JMP Pro. My name is Christian Geiser. I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you in the next video.